Good morning, Miss Bryan. Thanks for coming today.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Well,
Thank
very
you.
good. Well, today we're going to be talking about your evaluation. So thank you for bringing the information. We're going to be looking at several pieces of data: teacher work condition survey, the end of grade test, EVOS, parent surveys,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
student demographics.
Okay.
So let's start with your strengths. I always like to see the highlights of your school. One of the things that I noticed is your reading scores are above the district in EOGs. You had 3 teachers that exceeded growth. And you have a low expulsion and long-term suspension number. So congratulations.
Thank
I think
you.
that is great. Would you like to add anything else?
Yes, ma'am. I like to also talk about how great our teacher response and our teacher working conditions survey. We had a 96% response rate.
That's outstanding.
Thank you.
Nice job. Let's talk about the areas of improvement. We noticed that the EOG is about proficiency, as you know, and the 5th grade math is 29.5, and the 5th grade science is lower than the district and the state. And you know the EVOS is about growth, and the school is at a negative 1.98 growth. And we also noticed that the digital devices in the school is 0.56, which means every other student has access to the device versus the district, where every student has access to technology or some type of digital device. So talk to us about that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in reference to the digital devices, we really don't have the resources or the monies allocated to that. That might need to be an area we'll look at. We just don't have, we haven't been able to have that much in our classrooms at this time. As far as our 5th grade, yes, you are correct. We are far below, and but we are higher in the 3rd grade as opposed to the 5th grade. And we noticed that we have to work on, that's an area that we're going to be working on this upcoming year.
So let's talk about that. What type of professional development do you think you're going to be working on this year in your building?
I think we need to look at basically looking at our whole math program, especially since we're struggling with the end of grade test and the proficiency part. But also you pointed out about the growth with our EVOS. So yes, probably are going to have to look at maybe some professional development for my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers, and maybe specifically something different for the 5th grade teachers, going extensively maybe into a more abstract and how the problems and how students can learn, or how they go about learning math in that way.
And that's one of the things that you brought up. You have some great teachers in your building, so how are you going to use them in your school? What are some of your ideas about using your teacher leaders in your school?
I think that's a great idea, since we are struggling, seeing who's interested in doing it and giving them the opportunity to help work with teachers who maybe don't understand, not just in math, but any content area. Also letting them be the ones to decide what are some things with the professional development in their PLCs and how they can present that or help with the whole school.
I think that's a great idea. Let's talk about your surveys. You had some parent and student surveys, and I noticed some of the highlights. You had 89% of the student surveys say that someone cares about them in the school setting. 75% say that school is a good place to work and learn. And the atmosphere of trust and mutual respect in the school is higher than the district and state. So congratulations on those areas of strengths on your survey. Let's look at the areas of improvement. We noticed that your class size is large, and that was noted in the teacher work condition survey. You have 7 assistants in Title I, but 46.7 class sizes are not designed for student success, is what your teachers felt like. And the teacher work condition survey says that they don't have time to meet the needs of all students. How will you support your staff, and how will you use your staff as a support for student achievement?
I think we have to kind of look at, we've been following what's been done previous to my administration a couple of years ago, so it's obviously not working because we're not growing in an area. In fact, we're going backwards. So we may need to look at where these 2 Title I positions, can we use them so we can reduce the class sizes and work on smaller guided math groups that can help focus on the concrete lessons specifically in math. So we need to kind of talk together as a staff and see where the needs are for the students and how we can groups, maybe based on content standards as opposed to just grade levels, and think a little bit more outside the box. So looking at those assistants and how they can help with decreasing the class size.
Okay, very good. Let's talk about your managing student conduct. Based on the teacher work condition survey, 32% of your teachers feel students follow the rules, and 69.8% say that administration supports teachers' efforts in maintaining discipline. So talk to me about that. I also noticed that you have AP part-time, so I'm sure that that plays some role in your discipline. Talk to me about that.
It does. You know, we only have a part-time position in our assistant principal, so a full-time could help us with making sure we're following through with the behavior system that we have in place that can help our teachers, and so therefore they would feel supported. Sometimes when we look at the discipline or consequences that go with it, it may not go hand in hand with the teachers because we lack that personnel in the building to help follow through with the rules.
Well, I think that what you mentioned about teacher support is very important. Based on the standard for human resources and instructional leadership, 63.5% of the teachers are trusted to make sound decisions about instruction, and 64% of teachers have appropriate level of influence in decision making in your school. Let's talk about your teacher turnover rate at 20%. What are your plans to retain your teachers that you do have in the building?
Again, I think if I pull on that teacher leadership like you suggested, by maybe that'll help the teachers have some more buy-in and are excited to do more, and so therefore that they don't want to, they no longer have to walk away, or they're not happy that felt like their voice matters. So maybe utilizing professional development and teacher leadership as a way to help teachers who need help, but also providing them a leadership role as well.
And I also noticed in the student parent survey that students and parents don't feel like their homework is interesting enough, and the homework is not helping them to learn. What are your thoughts about how teachers provide homework for students?
I thought that was interesting as well, and that was a new statistic for me, so I'm going to take it back to our school improvement team so we can have that as a concern as well, and all of our teachers and grade levels can come up with a plan that makes sure that we're looking at homework that's more of a review, it's not being new lessons, and then also how does it play making sure it's not graded, it is truly something that is helping them with the standards that are being taught in the regular classroom.
I think that's a great idea. And so as we look at next year, what are some of your PD goals for next year that you'll be documenting on your PDP?
Well, I was looking through as the notes you suggested. I definitely want to look on professional development for our third, fourth, and fifth grade. I also would like to do more about this with the community involvement, and so I think somewhere in that area, how can I help with that? What are your suggestions?
Well, thank you for asking. I do think that there are two areas that I would like for you to focus on for next year. The first one would be Standard 6, external development. We'd like for you to continue to build those relationships with your students and involve your parents. Maybe think about businesses and how to connect to businesses and help them with student achievement. And I think that if you start building those relationships, involving your parents, then that's going to be noted in your surveys that you do.
Okay, yes.
We also like for you to look at instructional leadership. As you know, you are a low-performing school, so we want to look at ways to use your data when you're making decisions and how you differentiate your professional development. And one of the things that you mentioned was doing that for your fifth grade teachers. I would suggest maybe you do that for each grade level, each of your teachers in that school, and maybe give a survey to them also to see what are their needs, what do they need to focus on. You have the data that you're looking at, and then you have the teacher interest, and that's how you will do your professional development goals.
Okay.
And I think if you focus on those two areas, Standard 6 and Standard 2, I think that that would help with improving your scores for the next school year. And if there's anything that the district can help provide for you, please let us know. You know how to contact me, and we appreciate what you do for our students, what you do for our school and our community. And we just wish you the best for the next school year. All right, thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much.